shit, let's turn that down. Golly, fucking scarfing it down.
It's been about 10 months since Build 42 was released into Unstable and the developer's last blog post. As of October 17th, however, that has now changed with a brand new entry that digs into some changes that could have a massive impact on project.
Yep, there it is. Oh, good, yeah, they're fucking eating good. Wait, what?
Zomboid's future. There has been a significant organizational shift behind the scenes at the Indie Stone, and while there aren't any concrete dates just yet, we also get a statement on the progress of multiplayer. So in this video, we'll talk about the blog post itself, focus on the bits you need to know about, and have a brief bit of speculation on how this could affect development going forward. Let's get into it. The devs kick this one off by wishing everyone well and then jumping straight into some of the new hires that have joined the team in recent weeks, starting with one Christian Allen, who is the new design director for the Indie Stone. Mr. Allen has been a lead designer on many projects in the past, with the dev blog citing Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter and Halo Reach as the most notable names on his CV. I believe he's also been involved with Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor and even Fortnite in some capacity, although I'm not sure what role he held in those projects. What's particularly important though is that according to the devs, Mr. Allen has over 5,000 hours played in Project Zomboid itself as both a player and a modder. Now this is something that I love to see because it means someone in a fundamental role involved with shaping what the game actually looks like can well and truly say they have an in-depth understanding of the experience, which should hopefully mean their views and design ideas match up with those of the wider player base. The developers note that Mr. Allen has been with the team for a month now, and his first task has been to help the team focus on, and I quote here, bits of Build 42 that long-established players are banging their heads on the moved furniture. I think this is basically meant to say the parts of the game that have changed in Build 42 that even veteran players are struggling with. To take an educated guess, I'd imagine that involves things like the shift away from the right-click menus, the new crafting interface, things that are proving difficult to get used to even for experienced players. However, that is just my speculation because it's been left a little bit vague in the blog itself. The writer of this blog then moves on to explain that this new edition is just one part of a much wider reaching reorganization at the Indie Stone, with new faces being introduced and existing developers moving into new roles, with the ultimate goal of finding new ways to operate and more organized development. They say that last year it became apparent that the team needed some fresh talent with a wealth of experience added to the mix thanks to the growth of the game and as a result, its audience. Max Brode, previously from Ballistic Moon, the developers of the Until Dawn remake, joined the team in October last year as lead producer and has now moved up to production director. According to the writer, this has resulted in a more organized structure throughout all departments at the Indie Stone and is the reason we've seen more regular updates and releases on the unstable version of Build 42 than anything that's come before. The team also notes that the recently promoted producer, Yana, commonly known as Spiffo on the Indie Stone Discord, has also been a big part of this process. Some new hires were publicly welcomed to the team next, with Max Nuttall working in production, Matt Sullivan joining the community team, and both Daniel Heelan and Matthew Harbour working in quality assurance. Following on from this, there's been some familiar faces acquiring new roles within the team and setting their sights on some new challenges that could have big impacts on various parts of the community, starting with Patrick Brott. Mr. Brott was the creator of the Ragdoll physics added to Build 42 and has now become the team's technical director. His current efforts targeted towards cleaning up old parts of the code behind the game we know and love, with the goal of making life much easier for modders specifically. While I don't do much in the way of modding myself, hopefully there is a collective sigh of relief happening for all of those watching this from the wider modding community. He was joined by Romain Dron, otherwise known as RJ, who has taken up his new role as lead gameplay programmer. For those that are unfamiliar, RJ was the individual responsible for bringing animals to post-apocalyptic Kentucky, and just as a those expectations for your own sake, and just keep in mind we're unlikely to hear about multiplayer much until it's ready for release. All that said, I'll be covering everything in regards to development updates, release dates, or patch notes, and most of the people watching this won't be subscribed, so if you want all the latest news on Zomboid, you know what to do. Before the team moves on to their closing bits and pieces in this blog, they make mention of their new hires within the art department. Familiar community mappers Mello, Erica, and Dylan have joined the Indie Stone, as well as Nicola, otherwise known as Alokin. Just to give you an idea of what kind of maps these folks are known for, you may recognize such creations as Taylorsville, Blackwood, Short Rest County, and Grapeseed. They will be joining Ayrton O'Ryo, who has now been promoted to Project Art Director within the team, and together they will be responsible for, and I quote the blog directly here, bringing new realms of cohesion and town planning to our next raft of improvements to the Nox event exclusion zone. I can't say for sure what that means other than more new map areas are likely on the way in the future, but it's quite exciting to think that the team isn't finished with the map yet by any means, and will have even more new places to check out further down the line. Lastly, and by certainly no means least, the vehicle extraordinaire known as Filibuster Rhymes has officially joined the Indie Stone and is now working on improving vanilla vehicles. Though there is a specific note made here that we're unlikely to see the fruits of their labor until after Build 42. So, hopefully, some big things coming up for Project Zomboid in the future. I know there's definitely been a sentiment in the wider community that the team needs to move through the unstable phase of each of their updates a bit quicker than they have done historically. So, I'm cautiously optimistic that this is a big step in the right direction towards that. I'm also just really glad to see that the Indie Stone is using their recent success to hire more talent and grow their team, but also doing so from within the modding community, choosing those with an actual understanding of the game and with the right kind of experience for the task at hand. While obviously this isn't specifically stated in the blog itself, I'd really like to see this result in more content within each major update or a faster pace behind their release schedule, which I will note we've already seen with the practically monthly updates to the unstable branch of Build 42 since its release in December last year. Just as a bit of an aside here, there was also mention in this blog post about a new range of charity merchandise that has become available for fans, for which all the Indie Stone proceeds will be donated to Doctors Without Borders. This features another makeshift plushie of the Brawler Spiffo this time, a Project Zomboid hoodie, and a collection of pin badges. If that's of interest to you, I will leave a link to that merchandise down in the description, as well as a link to the full blog post in case you want to check things out for yourself in more detail. Now that's it from me in this video, but some exciting things coming up for Project Zomboid in the future by the sounds of things, and if you'd like to support the channel further, you can do so on Patreon. £3 a month will get you access to our whitelisted multiplayer server with new themed wipes and server events every single month. Thanks to all of my existing patrons for supporting the channel.
Hey, come on. What? Oh, I just devoured that shit, boy. Let's go. That shit's so good. Chopper. Okay, dude. Alright, shut up. Shut up. Get down. Shut up. Get down. Get down. Shut up. Quit. Stop. Oh my goodness gracious, that was